Nominal spirituality, real spirituality, and black magic. If the totality of a human being were to be described using three aspects, they would be the flesh, known as the food body by some mystics, the mind, which is the sum total of impressions and consciousness born of experience, perceived as a body of thought, and the energy body, which gives motion to the food body and mind. In the default state of unconsciousness that characterizes the predominant state of human existence, only the mind and food body are clearly perceived, though they are wrongly believed to be the totality of self. And this delusion causes reaction that colors the energy body. The energy body is not perceived in its uncolored state in unconsciousness, but rather one colored by the mind, and that colored energy is perceived as emotions. The energy takes on the vibrational level of the thoughts, and the vibrational level of the thought is determined by the extent to which they successfully serve the conceptual self, also known as the ego, and or the food body, meaning when circumstance does not favor the food body or the ego, the thoughts that hold in mind what's ideal for it color the energy body in a way that is emotionally painful, called negative. And the opposite is true. Emotions are pleasant when circumstance aligns with the mind's ideal for the food body. The mind is like the insulation of a wire through which the energy body moves, the outer skin of the balloon, and together they are called the soul by some traditions. What's called the false self is the individuated consciousness, the skin that surrounds the energy body and transmutes it into emotions as a lens colors light. The phrase, to die unto oneself, is to lose identification with that outer skin in the food body, such that the energy body it envelops is no longer vibrationally determined by it. And in this absence of the mind's coloring, the energy body ascends both in vibration and perceived position within the food body. This ascension is facilitated by a change in polarity in the direction of energetic flow, changing from one that pulls energy downward towards the lower meridians to one that moves energy upward to the higher. This has real consequences for what motivates a being. This ascension allows for a successful retention of sexual energy. It destroys the lust of the eyes. Real spirituality works towards the ascension of the energy body and vibration and perceived position within the form. The three aforementioned types of spirituality, nominal, real, and black magic, relate in their own way to the mind, body, and soul. Nominal spirituality shapes the mind. It is the spirituality of the scholar. For example, in the New Testament, the contrast between Jesus and the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees would be between the real spirituality of the former and the nominal spirituality of the latter. It is the same with the Buddha and the Pandits he would debate. Nominal spirituality seeks to shape the mind through scholarship, ritual, and adherence to rules to gain favor with a deity and or manifest an outward piety in the flesh for one's own gratification. It is the shaping of the mind through the study of rules and observance of traditions and rituals that matters in nominal spirituality. The state of the energy body is secondary, so long as the correct knowledge is held in mind and the correct actions are taken by the body. The masters of nominal spirituality need not be inwardly different from any other member of society in terms of their vibrational level and the polarity of their energy body. This is why Jesus compared them to whitewashed tombs that are outwardly beautiful but inwardly filled with dead men's bones. Black magic is a transactional kind of spirituality where the practitioner attempts to influence the physical circumstance through spiritual means by dealing with invisible beings of some sort. This would be akin to certain types of primitive pagan religions where there's a transactional relationship with a deity to secure a good harvest or fertility. Practitioners of such are also abiding in the predominant state of human unconsciousness, and it is evidenced by their motivations, their desire to have business that yields a physical result. Conversely, a successful practitioner of real spirituality has broken unconscious identification with the mind and body, such that the energy body has ascended in vibration and position, with the polarity being upward and not downward. And in this state, there is no desire, no suffering. There is no need for things to be a certain way, and therefore there is no desire to transact spiritual business with invisible beings. To shift from the predominant state of consciousness to the one that liberates the energy body is a treacherous path, described as a spiritual jungle by the 19th century Indian mystic Shirdi Sai Baba. It is fraught with treachery and fake gurus. A false teacher can be known by their motivations. The motivations of the food body and the mind are still evidenced in them through greed, lust, and deception. Jesus said, "You will know them by their fruits." Real spirituality cannot persist in the departure from truth. A lie is a mental object that serves the mind and flesh, and the desire to use such is evidence of an ongoing and unconscious identification with them. Real spirituality results in the abiding presence of the Spirit of Truth, which is a reward that is permanent and greater than any inner condition that can be brought about by a desirable circumstance or sensation. A false teacher serves the flesh, the ego, the I, me, mine. A teacher of true spirituality is perpetually abiding in their reward and therefore have no real care for gain. What comes does not disturb them any more than the fate of rocks. Real spirituality is not an additive process of accumulating esoteric knowledge or appeasing invisible beings through ritual or sacrifice. It is a process of dying unto oneself, of liberation from the care for the flesh and the ego. But it is not done through mortification or asceticism. It is done by somehow dispelling the delusion that the mind and body are the totality of self, whose fate should determine our state. It is the end of a kind of delusional idolatry. The fruits of real spirituality are the fruits of the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, and they are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's all for now.